All right, family, I am about to make my orange cake. Um, this is a cake that my grandmother would make during the holidays and also for someone's birthday, particularly mine because I would ask her for it. And she would really make it like around Easter time. Sometimes she would do it for, excuse me, Thanksgiving, but definitely around Easter, sometimes around Christmas. And then, when she got sick, she was diabetic and, all kinds of things happened and she broke her leg and she stopped cooking. But once she got, sick, she never made it anymore. So when I think about this cake, I kind of, feel some kind of way about it because it reminds me so much of her. And she would make it homemade from scratch. She didn't use a boxed cake mix. I've made it from scratch using like wheat flour or regular flour and, the regular cake ingredients. And, that's cool. I love a box cake, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I love a lot of things that come out of a box. I love boxed macaroni and cheese that has the liquid cheese packet, and I trick it out. I love boxed cake mix. So, I'm going to use one because I don't have a lot of time. But also, even if I did have a lot of time, I probably would still use the box cake mix. Like I said, I don't see anything wrong with it. Just like a pre-made crust. Like I don't make my own graham cracker crust, and I don't make my own crust for like sweet potato pies and things like that. I used to. Especially when I was a kid and a teenager and I was in the kitchen with my grandmother. But, nowadays, unless you actually just have to have a homemade crust, you can, go to the store and get a really good shortbread tasting crust for sweet potato pies and things like that. You can get a good graham cracker crust for, your cream cheese pies or your Mississippi mud pies or things like that. So, with that being said, I'm cool with a box cake mix, and that's what I'm going to use. I've got my orange that I've started zesting. I already ate one orange. I had 3 oranges. I ate one. I've got one that I'm zesting. And another one I got juice out with my juicer. And I don't know if I'm going to get the juice out of this orange as well or not. I've got my eggs that are coming to room temperature. I don't know. For some reason, I like my eggs for like cakes and things like that, and pies that come to room temperature. I've got some vinegar, and you're like, vinegar and cake, but I'll show you. And of course, I've got some orange extract and that classic white perfectly moist Duncan Hines, and you can use whatever type of cake mix you want. You can make your own cake batter. You can, get a box cake batter. It really doesn't matter. But for this, I am using a boxed cake batter. So I'm going to zest a little more of this orange, and then I'll be right back. And get the batter into the bowl, and then I'll be right back. Yeah, I've been zesting this orange, and it smells so good in here. As you can see, I didn't zest, every last single bit of the orange. And make sure you wash your orange off. I've still got the sticker on there, but the orange was washed off before I start zesting it. But make sure you wash the orange off really well. I forgot to say that. And this much zest is good for me. I mean, I've seen some people use an entire orange in this cake. I think it's like an Italian recipe or something like that. But that's a little too much for me. I love orange, and this cake is really delicious, but that might be too much. So in here, I've got 2 egg whites. 2 egg whites and 1 egg yolk. If you don't have any issues with cholesterol or, whatever, that's cool. Also, the egg whites, when you use all just egg whites or mostly egg whites, it makes your cake a lot fluffier than when you use the yolks. It makes it denser. But I'm going to add this lemon zest to the box cake batter. And I did add some oil. It's, you know, I think it calls for 1/3 of a cup of oil. I think I used just a little bit less than 1/3 cup of oil. I didn't add my liquid yet because I want to see what happens when I add the orange juice from that I juiced. So I'm going to add this. And this is about, let me look at it. The measurements are right on the thing. But this is about a little bit over 1/2 cup of orange juice, a fresh squeezed orange juice. It's not 1/2 cup. It's maybe, I don't know, 1/3 of a cup of orange juice. But some people use a whole entire cup of orange juice. You know, use however much you want. I'm also going to use just a little bit, you know, to intensify the flavor, but Lord knows, not a whole lot of orange extract. Oh, wow, that smells good. And I'm going to use, where's my spoon? I'm going to use about, it's very concentrated, so that's all I'm using. That little bit you see in there. That's all I need because I've added the fresh orange juice. I really didn't even need the orange extract. I think that because I bought it, I want to use it. So, and I'm making this orange cake because I make, you know, like little orange muffins and stuff like that, which I do make homemade from scratch, the orange muffins. Orange and blueberry muffins. But I think just because I had it, I wanted to use it. But anyway, I've got, okay, so in here, I've got the cake batter, 2 egg whites, 1 egg yolk, less than 1/3 of a cup, a little bit less than 1/3 of a cup of oil, that lemon zest, which is almost the zest of 1 large orange. If you have 2 small oranges, zest those. And that cup, not cup of fresh orange juice, but, and my vinegar is not opening. I don't know what's wrong with it. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. If you ever have anything that doesn't open, like a top won't open because the gas is, you know, keeping it from opening, it's like sealed up, just hit it against something and it will open right up. And that goes for anything. So as far as the vinegar, where's my spoon? My allergies are driving me crazy again. About a tablespoon of vinegar. So now it smells like orange and vinegar. So I've got all my dry and wet ingredients together. I've got some water, and you know, as I mix this and get it together, I'll see, you know, how much of the water I need to add because I've added that orange juice. On low speed 1 for maybe about 2 minutes. And as I'm looking at it, it looks like I could use, just eyeball it and see how much water. So I put about, I would say 1/4 of a cup of water in there just now. So let's go back. I just want to get that moist. I'm going to put it on 3 now, which is like about medium. And I'm going to beat it for, on medium for maybe, probably about the same amount of time, about 2 minutes. You don't want to mix your cake to death. Any type of baked good, and I've been guilty of doing this sometimes, but you don't want to mix stuff to death or it'll be like tough and not fluffy, and you know, it'll be like kind of dense and tough and all that. So I beat this till it's moistened, just about moistened. And I'm going to do it probably less than 2 minutes on medium. Okay, that looks good to me. That looks good to me right there. Family, I have added maybe a tablespoon more of water to the batter, and I've got my bundt cake pan. You can actually, do a layer cake. My grandmother used to do a layered orange cake, and she would have like a buttercream and orange frosting or cream cheese frosting that she made, and so it would be a layer cake with icing and frosting. These days, I love frosting. Frosting is probably one of my weaknesses on a cupcake or cake. I love frosting, and the sweeter the frosting is, it seems like, the more I go crazy over it. So these days, I'm managing to get my A1C down. I'm trying to get it down even further. It was a 12.8. I've actually managed to get it down to 7. And they recommend that for diabetics, your A1C, your blood glucose, be under 7 or under 6.5. I'm shooting for under 7 now. And if I can make it to under 7, I know that I can work a little harder and hopefully get it to. Trying not to focus on numbers, but I do want to make sure I get it under 7. But I think from 12.8 to 7 for A1C for a diabetic, I think that's awesome. So I'm not beating myself up about it not being exactly under 7 and being right at 7 right now. But with that being said, I don't. I'm trying to avoid a lot of frosting. So I was like, well, I really want the layer cake and I really want the frosting, but I'm going to do just a drizzle with a bundt cake. And that's the good thing about bundt cakes is make sure, they don't have a ton of frosting on them when they have that drizzle. Or you can eat bundt cakes without any icing or frosting. So I spray this generously with, cooking spray. If you're going to butter your pan, butter it generously, shortening, whatever you use. I use a nonstick cooking spray. And like I said, I spray, even around the top of the thing because I don't want it to stick. I'm so paranoid about it sticking. So what you want to do is get your batter in there. This smells so good. I always say I wish I had smell-o-vision because, and this is not like the big bundt cake. This is a smaller bundt cake pan that I have. I don't exactly know the dimensions. I'm going to try to figure it out. Get the information on it. When I ordered it, I thought it was, like a regular bundt cake pan, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, this is smaller, which is perfect because I don't have any kids, and usually it's just myself and someone else eating, a friend or, family, somebody, just 2 people eating. So I don't need a lot of, cake. And I don't need to have a lot of cake around anyway. So, but I do treat myself to a piece of cake. I usually try to have that either Fridays or Saturdays. I'll allow myself a treat. Of, whatever sweet, or I bake things for neighbors sometimes, people's birthdays. This is not for anyone's birthday. This is because I want it. I had a taste for it, and I'm like, oh man, it's the holidays. That orange cake would be so nice. All right, now, this is ready. My oven is preheating to 350, and it shouldn't take that much longer. If you wanted to do an orange spice cake and add, the pumpkin pie spice or nutmeg, some cinnamon, go right ahead and do it. If you wanted to add a little rum, orange liqueur, you could do that. This is, you know, personalize your cake however you want. And I just heard the beep. That means my oven is preheated. So, get this into my oven. Oh, it smells so good. It smells amazing. All right. You can also make sure it's in the middle. There you go. And 350, I'm going to set it for, I don't know why I always do that, but, you know, hey. I'm going to set it for 25, and I'm going to check it at 25 to see, you know, what's going on with this cake. So I will see you back in probably less than 25 minutes when I check and see what's going on with my cake. All right, I'm checking my cake again for the last time. It is done. I actually did, remember I said I put it on 13 minutes. And I meant to say I put it on 13 minutes and I was going to check it, you know, way before the 13 minutes. But let's see, it's 9 minutes now. So about 4 extra minutes made the difference. It is done. Let me get my mitt. It smells so good. So that's nice and done. So once you do the 20, sorry about that camera. Once you do the 25 minutes initially for the cake, just, you know, try to do like 4 additional minutes until, because this part hadn't set up. That's what I was waiting for. Like you see that's cracked, but this was, when I checked it after 25 minutes, this wasn't done. This is now done. You know, the toothpick trick, that works, but, you know, I've been making cakes so long, I don't have to do anything with any toothpick. Old school, don't have to do toothpicks. But anyway, this is done. I'm going to let it cool off. It smells heavenly and amazing. And I'm going to come back and do the icing for it, the drizzle, icing drizzle for it. So 25 minutes. And then, you know, maybe about 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, check it. Even before the 5 minutes is up, like at 4 minutes, check it. And just, you know, make sure that's, and it's so moist. Like it feels, you know, it's done. But as I press on it, it's like very soft and moist. Oh my gosh, it's so sexy. But it's not as sexy as it's going to be, you know, when I put that drizzle on it. So I'm going to let this cool off for about 30 minutes. I'll find something to do, eat something or watch some Netflix, or maybe do something that's a little more fun than that. But anyway, all right, 30 minutes to cool off. So I'm about to do my frosting. My cake is cool to the touch. It's cooled off. So, you know, about 30 minutes have passed, probably over 30 minutes. And I've been eating, I've been eating that orange that I was supposed to use. I used some of it for my juice, but I've been eating this orange and it is so good. But anyway, I'm about to make my frosting. I've got, you can use confectioner's sugar. I have a whole ton of confectioner's sugar, but, you know, I looked in my fridge and I found this cream cheese frosting. And I was like, I'm going to use that. So I have some cream cheese frosting in here. If you don't want to use, you know, store-bought frosting, you want to make your own frosting. You're used to making your own frosting. You know, I've done it. To me, it's not any really, you know, big deal. Frosting is sugar, essentially in fat. So, but anyway, if you didn't want to use the store-bought frosting, then, use the confectioner's sugar with the orange juice. And mix it together until it forms, like a syrup, and, it's to the consistency of your liking. So I've also got in there with the frosting, probably about 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, any kind of cream cheese. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to microwave this for on very low power for, less than a minute, and I'll be right back. Emily, this batter is looking right. It is exactly the consistency that I want it to be, but if you want it to be a little thicker, you can add a little more frosting. If you're doing it with confectioner's sugar, of course, you can add, more confectioner's sugar until it is not as liquidy, or you can make it thicker. It is up to you how you want it, but this for me is a good consistency, and I microwaved it for 80 seconds on 40% power, which is very low. I didn't want it to boil or cook, but just to melt, and the flavors to melt, the cream cheese and the cream cheese and the frosting to kind of just melt. So, and then after I mixed it, I went back and microwaved again for 20 seconds, the 20 seconds that was left. So a minute. This took a minute. But let me taste and see what's going on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. It tastes like cream cheese and orange. Excuse me, citrus. It tastes amazing, and it's so simple. The addition of the cream cheese with the icing, the cream cheese icing, oh my gosh, it's just, and then that bit of orange extract, and then the fresh orange juice really did it. I'm sorry, I need a moment. I'm like so excited, but okay, let me calm down. Here's my, wow, that tastes so good. I mean, I could literally eat this whole bowl of frosting. And I can honestly say, unfortunately that, back in the day, when I was a kid and a teenager, I would have probably eaten this whole thing of frosting. But, wow. Oh my goodness gracious. So, I guess I'll, take a spoon and do it. I'm going to start, the icing. Oh my gosh. I'm going crazy here over this icing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Foodies. I guess, I'm just a true foodie. But I'm going to, wow. Just haphazardly start drizzling this cake. It doesn't have to be perfect. Some people, the cake has to be, it has to be in a pattern, or I don't do all that. I just, very laid back way drizzle. I like to have some in the middle, and I like some to drip down into the middle. And I like it to drip down to each of the sides. Let's do this side, and I'm still going to have some frosting, left. Don't, worry about this. And, usually I'll put a little wax paper, and then just remove it from the cake to keep it, from being messy. But, you don't have to do that. So as you can see, it's kind of starting to set up a little. Oh, that's so sexy. That is so freaking sexy. I want the frosting to cover the sides. I want frosting on the sides. So the thing I love about Bundt cake is that, oh my gosh, that frosting tastes like an orange dreamsicle. The thing I like about Bundt cakes most is, you know, you get some of the cake that's really tender, and then you get some of the cake that's got like a little crust. I'm gonna clean this cake up, remove some of this icing. Like I said, usually I use a piece of wax paper and take it off, and it's so easy to clean up, but I didn't bother doing that this time. But I'm gonna come back with the finished cake that's gonna look a lot prettier. Guys, my orange cake is ready. It is so right. You look at it, it is sexy AF. It just, you know, I cut two pieces. I cut a piece for a friend of mine who's here, and I also cut myself a piece. And, you know, a friend of mine devoured it within like seconds. And I was like, well, let me, you know, at least do the rest of the vid and show the finished cake before it's all gone. But this cake tastes so heavenly. It does not have an overwhelming flavor of orange. And that's because I kind of didn't use, you know, a ton of the orange extract, and I only used a little bit of the fresh orange juice. And it's just so good. The glaze is heavenly. The cake is nice and moist. You can taste the sour cream, a little tang of the sour cream, just a hint of it. And it makes it super moist. And I forgot to talk about that vinegar that I put in here. Vinegar actually makes your cakes lighter and a little fluffier. So, but yeah, this cake is just, you know, it's just beautiful, and it reminds me of the holidays. I love it around Christmas time. I love it around New Year's. I love it around spring. You know, especially for spring, Easter, this is a great cake to make. I mean, look at it. This is a great cake to make for Easter. So, you know, just keep that in mind. You can make it any time of year, but those are really great times to make this sort of cake. And I think my grandmother would be proud. I think she'd be happy with this cake. So give me a thumbs up. So anyway, I am going to get to my piece of cake. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and click the notification bell, share. I appreciate you watching. And wow, look at that cake. It is sexy AF. Look at it. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that icing that's pooling in the middle. So, you know, if you cut a piece, you can even drizzle a little of that extra on there. But, oh, guys, peace, I'm out.